Marshall, take it away.
Mike Martz, Rams' former head coach, who was the orchestrator of the greatest show on turf and often called Mad Mike, had been responsible for making journeyman quarterback Trent Green, Mark Boger, and Kurt Warner into household names. When Mike was hired to coach Jay Cutler, everyone on the outside looking in thought the Bears were throwing gasoline on fire. And well, Jay Cutler even had his reservations. When you heard that they signed Mike Martz, did you look at it as if, okay, a lot of things might have to change about Jay Cutler now that Mike's coming here?
Yeah, you know, we talked about it before they hired him. You know, I was up here with Lovey, and, you know, I voiced my concerns with him because, you know, as a player, I know what I can do well, and that wasn't one of the things that I thought that I could really do well, was, you know, throw to a spot and do all those things. And Lovey, you know, he wanted to make that call. He felt really great about it, and, you know, I trust Lovey. So met with Mike, talked about it. You know, from our first conversation, I just liked what he was talking about offensively, and, you know, it's worked out so far.
When I first talked to him, I went down to see him in Tennessee. I asked him a couple of things on defense and what he thought about it, and the answer was immediate. You know, this is how you attack this and what you do, and then he kind of did the same thing to me, and all of a sudden we kind of fed off each other, and, you know, you blinked and 2 hours were gone. So that's how we kind of started together.
Coach, let's talk about the challenges of implementing your style of offense with a quarterback who threw as many interceptions as Jay did the year before.
Winds up, throws it, and it's intercepted.
When you take a guy that's confident about his abilities, you don't want to back him off that thought that I can stick that ball right there. Now, what you want to do is, there's a fine line between making a dumb throw and making a really tight, good throw. And he understands that. And there's a couple of these throws he'd like to take back, but I think by and large he's made terrific progress.
I've been critical of Jay Cutler because I played in his offense and I watched the quarterback play at a high level.
Yeah.
That trust that you got to have in your receivers. You're throwing to a spot hoping that guy get there and protect the football. Tell me how you've matured with it.
It took some time, you know, a lot of repetitions, but until you really go out there on game day and you really go through the motions and you really experience the play live, I mean, you're not really going to gain that trust. And coming off a year with all the interceptions, to go out there and be like, all right, just throw to this spot, that guy he'll be there. It was hard. It really was hard. You know, still not there 100%, but we're getting there.
Oftentimes, I sit down and watch the game, and I listen to people around me talk about after Jay Cutler throws an interception, like, what is he thinking about? Do you care about what your body language may say to the rest of your teammates?
You know, I think the guys know me well enough, you know, at this point on our offense. They know that, you know, whenever I throw a pick, I'm going to go back, I'm going to look at it, I'm going to talk to everyone that was involved with it, and we're going to figure it out. The picks are going to happen. I've said it once, I'll say it again. They're going to happen out there. You want to limit them, and you don't want to do them in critical times.
Let's talk about sacks. The offensive line. I mean, there's not a lot of first-round picks on that offensive line, but the trust that you must have in those guys.
Yeah. You know, we moved them around. We had to shuffling some parts around. You know, it took 5, 6, 7 games until we really get that front five that we really trusted and wanted to go with. And, you know, we've had to cut down some steps for them and get rid of the ball quicker. But, you know, we still got to push the ball down the field. And when we asked them to do it, they've been able to do it.
Lots of time. Going right side. Open is Johnny Knox, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown.
How good can Jay be in your system?
He's the best. He is just now getting going. And he is just going to take off like a rocket.
When people talk about the elite quarterbacks, the guys under 30, and they don't mention Jay Cutler, does it bother you at all?
Yeah, it gets to you a little bit. You know, after last year, I wouldn't expect anything but to be left off that list. So the only thing you can do is go out there and play better and hopefully prove some people wrong.
Jay takes space, going to the end zone, over the middle, touchdown Rashid. Bears are going to be NFC North champions.
What does Jay Cutler have to do to take his team deep into the playoffs?
You know, what every other quarterback has to do. You know, limit your turnovers, be efficient on third down, red zone. You know, just lead this team. You know, make them believe in what we're trying to do out there. Offensively, you know, myself included, we just got to pick it up.
Great stuff, Marshall. Great stuff. As you can see, it's sort of middle of the road numbers. Mike Martz's system that you pointed out and you talked about, it takes some time to get used to. And great question about the body language, because last year when he did the body language thing on the podium after a big loss, we threw several picks. There was one analyst on our staff who really took him to task. His name was Mike Martz. Took him apart right here on this set, right over. I remember I was standing next to the guy when he took him apart, and now he's his offensive coordinator, trying to get him to the next level, believing in him quite a bit. Do you believe that this could be an elite quarterback one day in Jay Cutler?
In any other system, on any other team except for this team, and Warren Sapp knows this, anytime that you're on a team that has a great defense, there's no such thing as an elite quarterback on a team with a great defense, because you can't make the mistake that you need to make in order to mature as a quarterback. Those tight throws that you have to fit in there, you have to learn how to do it by throwing it. When you play on a great defense, they want you to protect the football and not put the defense in harm's way. So as long as he's with the Bears, Jay Cutler will not be an elite quarterback. He'll be a good quarterback. He'll be a quarterback with a lot of talent. But elite, I don't think he'll reach that status.
Yeah, I think he can, Marshall, and I'll tell you why. Well, there's some ifs here. Mike Martz needs to stay there.
I mean, Jay's on the fence a lot today.
I say yes, Mike Martz needs to stay there. He needs some continuity in scheme. He had a different offensive coordinator last year with the Bears. He had a different one in Denver. And all of a sudden, if this team that it looks like it's like Mike Martz said, he's taken off. And I think he is. You get him another receiver or two as weapons. You get him another year in this great system. And all of a sudden, and he starts winning playoff games. They are going to win some playoff games probably this year. And then you start including him with the same sort of names as the Phillip Rivers and the, Drew Brees and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Those are the elite guys. But you start winning playoff games and maybe a Super Bowl, all of a sudden, I believe your name is included in that.
You cannot be an elite quarterback unless you win Super Bowls, or your name is Dan Marino. Name the elite quarterbacks that ever played this game. Name the elite quarterbacks that ever played this game. You were talking about Elway, Aikman. You're talking about several other guys that we know that are like that. This guy, I don't know if he could be an elite quarterback because I don't like his mannerisms. I don't like his posture. I don't like his verbiage after the pressers, after the game when he's lost or won. I don't know if he could be that guy. When you watch Phillip Rivers, Peyton Manning, Brady, Drew Brees, all these guys, when they do their pressures, they take command of their team. They take responsibility. These guys are elite because of the way they carry themselves. I don't know if he has that intangible.
When you name an elite quarterback, what else goes with that?
What?
A receiver. When you say Montana, you say Rice. When you say Marino, you got the Marks brothers. When you say Jay Cutler, he didn't have that. But when he did have it in Brandon Marshall, you saw what they did. There was a connection that was lighting up the NFL. 4,500 yards he had in Denver, led him down the stretch. The defense was just horrible in Denver. It might cost Mike Shanahan his job out there. He went to coaching the defense. So you give Jay Cutler a good defense and an elite receiver and watch him play. Because I got something for you. This man won Player of the Year in the SEC at Vanderbilt.
I'm just trying to soak, that's a great point, but I'm trying to soak this in. You who knows Mike Martz as well as anybody, and that system backwards and forwards. You went to Chicago, you interviewed both the quarterback and the offensive coordinator, and came away thinking he can't be an elite quarterback?
No, because of that team and the structure of that team and what you must do.
Comes to the vet.
Listen, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl with the Ravens.
Hey.
I'm just saying, he's not an elite quarterback, but you protect the football. I mean, you can win that way. And that's how, when you have a good defense, when you have a defense like the Bears, you don't turn the football over.
But do you think that Mike Martz would play conservative ball even though they have a good defense? He likes to play full-on, let's go, right, in that system, whether you have the great defense or not, don't you think?
They ran the ball 40 times last game.
And today they played chess. He plays chess with Rex Ryan. An interesting dynamic to that Jets-Bears game today. Good job.
Thank you.
It's Cutler.